Today I want to talk about the 10 steps or so involved in the Michigan divorce process. The process begins by the court getting jurisdiction, and that only happens if you file a complaint for divorce. So you got to file a petition. It's got to be filed with the court clerk's office, and then it'll be randomly assigned to a family court judge. But the first step is certainly to file a complaint for divorce or a petition. Once that's done and it's stamped by the court clerk and all that, then you have to do step number 2, which is you got to serve the other side. Service means you've got to get the other side those papers somehow. It could be by a court officer, a bailiff, it could be a certified mail. There's some method by which you must serve the other side, and you can't do it yourself. You can't hand them to your husband. You can't hand them to your wife. It's got to be by an independent third party, and this assures the integrity of the process. Now, step number 3, sometimes there are temporary orders. These are orders entered by the court to govern the immediate actions of the parties. Perhaps it will say, no big ticket items spent. So it might freeze assets, or it might say one person can stay in the house, the other one's got to go. There might be some temporary order. There might be temporary support order. Temporary orders are the next thing. Step number 4 involves the exchange of financial documentation. There are no surprises in properly handled divorce. Everybody's supposed to know what everybody has. So there may be a person who has a big job, a lot of assets, a lot of stocks, a lot of bonds, golf course, this and that. Those financial disclosures have to be exchanged. Both parties need to know what the marital estate involves. And then, of course, what ends up happening is you end up negotiating or mediating the case in an effort to try and see if it can come to a resolution. Sometimes the parties through their attorneys can negotiate themselves. Every now and then they can't do it. And when they can't do it, the court will many times order that the matter be sent to a mediator so he can engage in the next step in the divorce process. And those would be called settlement discussions, settlement talks. So that would be basically step number 6. The parties would try to meaningfully engage in settlement discussion. I'll take this, you get this. How about you give me this? I'll get that. A little bit of horse trading going on in an effort to try and resolve it without the court having to do a trial. I will share with you that probably over 95% of cases in the state of Michigan are resolved through that process. Only a very small percentage actually have to go to trial. The settlement process could also include a parenting plan. So step number 7 would be, if we're going to negotiate and we have children, how are we going to parent the children? What will the custody arrangement be? Custody, parenting time, even child support. All these things have to be discussed and negotiated as part of it. And then hopefully the parties arrive at step number 8, which is the final agreement. The parties will put to pen and paper a final agreement that talks about all the assets, all the legal issues, and puts them in a document. And the document is signed by all parties. There's a final agreement, and then you must go and you have to seek step number 9, court approval. None of this means anything unless the court signs off on it. Now, if you go before the court and you say, okay, Your Honor, we have a settlement in this matter which contemplates the following. Husband will do A, B, C, D. Wife in exchange will do H, I, J, K. All these things back and forth. We'll have somebody take care of this, somebody take care of that. He will give this in exchange for which she will get that. That's the settlement that's put on the record before the court, and the court will listen to it. The court will swear in the parties. The court will say, I've heard the settlement. Do you agree to this? Do you understand it's full and final settlement? Do you have any questions about it? Have you been satisfied with your representation? All these things that the court will go through. And then ultimately, after the court takes all the proofs that it needs, it will do step number 10, which is the entry of a judgment embodying all these things and taking care of all issues relating to the case.
248-588-3333. 248